And welcome back to the 12th man. Delighted to be joined by the magic man himself, Zach Lyttle. How you feeling, Zach?
All good, yeah, yourself?
Aye, all good, aye. How's
All good.
lockdown going?
Aye, grand. Not bad, hey. But nightmare now at this stage of game, like when I get a few pints, but
No,
everybody's in the same boat.
that's looking more like the summer.
Oh, what?
Lockdown looks like it's going to be Easter minimum, but football at the weekend.
Uh,
Obviously, I said it during the week. It was a big weekend in the Premier League, for a
mm,
few reasons. Thought Liverpool playing City was going to give us an indication where the title was going to look, especially if City could win it. United has a decent fixture with Everton, or from the Everton. I thought they beat them twice this year. They'd go one. I obviously know what happened. I'm going to chat about that in a bit. But first of all, when I start with that big game, Liverpool Man City,
uh,
huge game at the top. Obviously,
mhm.
people said it was a big game for Liverpool, but I thought it was a big game for City too. You rightly just said before we come on air there that City have went to Anfield before and be bottled it or not turned up, and they've obviously have won there since 2003, so that's 18 years. So there was pressure going on it themselves. They come into the game in the better form, and probably hit Liverpool at a time where you thought maybe they were slightly vulnerable. But as you said, you fancied Liverpool. I actually said I fancied Liverpool to turn up as well and won. So quite a shock the way it turned out, the mistakes and the way City won it. But
Mm.
just before we sort of get into it, do you sort of sense now that it's Man City's title to lose after that result?
It's a big advantage now. Like you can't see where they're going to drop points, like, but I think there's still points there to be dropped, like, throughout the season. So, but United have to keep winning. Like we need to keep a consistency, or
Or it's
Leicester, whoever.
United,
Like
it's only
it's
United
just
or City.
it goes down to us in consistency, because I do think they will drop points.
Like I said on the show the other week there,
Uh,
that I fancy them to lose maybe 2-3 games max between now and the end of the season. Still think they might have a
uh,
block. I
uh,
think the fact that De Bruyne has been, I don't know if
uh,
I know he's coming back, but the fact they haven't really got a steady striker up front could come back to bite them in a game. So, but I do only sense that they might lose
uh,
2 or 3 games.
uh.
So United's in a situation now they have to win nearly every game. So do you sort of see that it's a
uh,
big ask now for United to come back?
it is, like, because the defense ain't giving me no confidence, like, going forward, like, because three goals that we conceded the weekend was, well, the second one was a good goal by Everton, but the first and the third, like, was a disgrace. Like, you should be like, that's not going to win you a title, like, I don't think, or like, no defense, like, if not
See you
that,
on the
like, but
game. See you on the
I'll keep
game
a
on.
fifth in a week, yeah.
I know you will. I know you will. See you on the game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first half I thought was quite lackluster. I thought both teams are sort of seen a lot in the big games this year where it's been quite tactical and no team really wanted to open up and take the initiative. Thought City were happy to sort of feel how Liverpool were going to go, and Liverpool weren't. Seeing Liverpool's pressing wasn't what it usually is. I want to get into that in a bit, but almost like they give City a lot of respect too. So it's I thought it was quite a poor game in the first half. They watch. Um,
Uh,
City obviously missed that chance with a penalty. I mean, you think,
mm,
Jesus, is it going to happen again? They're going to have an hour bad, day at Anfield. But
mm,
second half, I thought City were a different level. I thought they come out and they really pushed Liverpool. Liverpool got back into the penalty, but I only seen
mm,
it going one way. I know there was mistakes involved, and we're going to get into that
uh,
too. But City did, for me, control the second half, and it's much better. I think Pep changed the system, and they went with a 4-4-2, which is quite
mm,
unusual in this day.
uh,
You don't usually go with it. And the fact they don't have any strikers,
uh,
I think if you give Pep a lot of credit, he's took a
uh,
lot of criticism over the last year. But his tactics this year, since that Spurs game, they've won every. They've been on an unbeaten run.
uh,
And he's been missing. People's going on about injuries, but he's been missing De Bruyne. He's been missing Aguero, missing Jesus. So as he's had his own problems to deal with as well. So that
uh,
second half performance, and the way I think Gundogan's been the big surprise of the season in terms of his influence in City. Do you do you just
uh,
think it's come out of nowhere, or do you
uh.
think Pep has a lot to do with it?
Um, I'd say Pep has a lot to do with it too. Like, but they've a fucking their team is absolutely fantastic. Like, I don't like giving them that much credit, like, but they are absolutely fantastic. Phil Foden is out of this world. Like, he is.
I just put it down there.
Jesus,
Do you
I
think
love him
it?
at United. Hey, Phil
Have
Foden.
it on my sheet here. Do you think Foden's England's best youngster?
Mm. Jesus, you'd have to say 100%, because I can't say Greenwood. Greenwood hasn't really been this consistent this season. Like I think Greenwood can go up that level again, but Phil Foden for me is definitely like
I think
I'd say he's
one
one of the best players in the Prem at the minute. Never mind English.
I think an R one's been mentioned Saka.
Mm.
He's been obviously touted as one as well, but do you sort of put Foden as a different level?
100%. I Phil Foden's been quality this year. Definitely. So don't get me wrong, Saka's a brilliant wee player too, but Foden's different quality. So Foden is unbelievable.
See,
Like he tore fucking Robertson apart. Like
going to say, see before the game, right? I've been saying this for a few weeks with Liverpool, right? That I'm surprised that Klopp keeps persisting with Fabinho and Henderson at the back. I know he sort of brought Matip back and they got injured, but especially on Sunday, I thought, the fact they had centre halves available, like Phillips, who'd done well, he kept 2 clean sheets really. Spurs conceded against Spurs, but it was a goal from outside the box. Couldn't really do much about it. And then the West Ham game, an hour corner. But Phillips didn't make any mistakes in them 2 games. So I thought, he might have given him a chance. Obviously, it went with Fabinho and Henderson because Henderson come back on. But I did think eventually that them two at the back would eventually come back to bite him in terms of they're both midfielders playing at the back and up against real quality. I thought it would be difficult. Surprisingly, I thought it was Fabinho that was really, really bad on Sunday. A lot of mistakes. I know he gave away the penalty. Trent obviously had a nightmare too. Foden was on that left side and then he switched to the right side for the goal after Bernardo Silva or Mahrez come off. But what you see with Trent, you've obviously said this before. Do you think that he's always his strengths are going forward and he really struggles at the back against anyone with this?
Because I've watched I'm just I know it's not really a fair comparison because Wan-Bissaka is the best defensive right back in the league, but when I watch Man City against us, Sterling does not be doing that to Wan-Bissaka at all. Like he had every time he was running at Trent doesn't know what to do. I was up watching the match with a couple of minutes there, and every time Sterling got the ball, everybody was like, get at him, because he just completely terrorized them all night. Like, thought he was shocking Trent. And if he doesn't have the same, he needs to be giving you that output going forward if he's going to give you anything towards a match. Like in some matches, he doesn't have the attacking ability there.
I think,
well, he doesn't show it anyway.
But Fabinho was really exposed. I think it was one stage in the second half where Foden really, really done him. And I think Fabinho might have got the LKR, but it was all day. I don't know if it was confidence or Fabinho just looked really off at that penalty giveaway. Was so unlike him. He just stuck out a leg. And the first goal City scored was really, really bad defense. I think Roy Keane spoke about it after the game that I think Souness was trying to deflect. Really, he was saying about how good it was from Sterling, but Trent never really tackled him, and Fabinho never really tackled him. I think Fabinho was terrified to give away an hour penalty. But if you look at all 4 goals, all avoidable from Liverpool's part, like. So how do you?
Well, like at the end of the day, too, like I would say. Go ahead.
No, so how do you see it? See the 4 goals. I know City have got a lot of credit. Do you think that Liverpool sort of gift wrapped on the one and the way they conceded the goals?
I think it was one of when Sterling just he literally he just walked past Trent sort of. I was like, Jesus, he didn't even try and tackle him. He just completely let him go past him. But it was bad defending too, but it was quality too for Man City. Like they are. Jesus, they haven't came out of nowhere but this season, since after that Spurs defeat, as you say, they have just been relentless. Been absolutely relentless.
One thing that's come out of this, right, is obviously you were saying about Robertson. That 4th goal, Foden runs them, but they look very, very tired. I think Trent looked tired. I think Fabinho looked tired. I think their intensity and their pressing at the front was gone. They look a really, really tired team at the moment. I know they've had everyone's had a very packed schedule. I know they're not in the FA Cup this week. They're out. They're going to have maybe a full week off for the first time this season for a long time. But do you look at it now and think it's possibly the end of the cycle in terms of that team? It needs freshened up. They've played a lot of football. I think the top 10 players in the league over the last few years, he's played the most minutes. Liverpool 5 players put it up last night going football. So how do you see it?
Well, no, at the start of the season, I was joking when I said, I was sort of joking that I was saying they're not going to get top 4, but they haven't changed that. They're starting 11 in about 2.5 years, and I was like, teams are going to catch on to that. It's not going to keep. It's I knew like going into the season, like like they didn't buy anybody. Like when Man City go into a new season, they buy more and buy more, and then like brought Foden and all through. I just thought, and then I seen last year too, there was gaps where like they went like towards the end of the season, Watford beat them 3-0, and then they went to Man City. And I know the league was over, but the starting 11 on, was it?
Yeah.
I definitely seen it coming like a collapse. Like I don't know about this body of collapse. Like, and I know you can count for Van Dijk and all that, but Van Dijk was on when they were a bit 7-2 by Villa too.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
Another thing as well, I looked at, right, that's 3 defeats in a row at Anfield, right? Obviously, it's been very, very tough to go there since sort of Klopp's come in. I think you've unbeaten for nearly 4 years there in the league. And obviously that's gone. Like, you think that teams have lost that fear factor going to Anfield now? That it's almost like you can go there and you think you can get a result now.
well, when the fans are back, I think it'll probably be a different story. But
Yeah.
well, people will. They give you confidence. Like that's what annoyed me about when United played them. I think we showed them far too much respect. Like at Anfield, we should have went out and went for them. Like because I definitely like an old Trafford. We beat them in there. I know it was the FA Cup, like, but it was some similar sort of teams. Like that were out. Like
Mm.
I was fuming about that result. Like.
I'm a big fan of Jamie Carragher, right? He is always honest, calls it how it is. Like, and he said last night he doesn't think they'll look and win the league again unless they sign 3 top class players. He said he thinks they're at that point where after the Champions League final, they need 3 players. Well, they got Allison, Fabinho, and who was the
Van
other one?
Dijk.
Van Dijk was it? I made 3 top class signings anyway. And he was saying that he thinks that that's what they need again now. They push forward again. Do you see that as well? Do you think that they're about 3 players short again now of being a top sort of that team that went unbeaten, for so long?
I think they need I would say, like, I know Man City need an out striker, but I'd say Liverpool are must not too, because I think Firmino, like, I don't see what he offers at all. Don't get me wrong, Salah and Mane is absolutely, they're 2 world beaters, but Firmino, no, it doesn't cut the mustard for me. I definitely think someone else should be on their centre forward. Like,
I think Firmino's goals and assists have really dried up over the last year. I think there is a case now they're going to have to bring somebody else on. I think Mane as well. I know he's been injured this year as well, but he's not really produced the numbers. I think Mane, he's a great. I love watching Mane, good player. I think he's because he does all these tricks and flicks and he can beat men. End product this year's not been good. Salah's carried the burden quite a lot, and this is one thing that gets leveled at Spurs quite a lot is the Harry Kane team. Where would they be without Harry Kane? Because he seemed without injury, they struggled, and that's every team, and you can look at that way every team. But I don't think it's a big crime to rely on your best players. It's like Barcelona, they relied on Messi for years. Every team relies on players, right? And you look at if they didn't have Salah's goals this year, where would they be? Liverpool, like, Salah's scoring a lot of the goals. But they're going to need to reinforce that area of the pitch, as you say, and then obviously in defence as well. Who knows what Van Dijk's going to come back like?
Is he going to come back the same player?
Exactly. Cruciate injuries are never a guarantee. Matip's obviously moving on, getting older, a lot of injuries. Gomez has had a lot of injuries for a young player. Thiago has come on, and for as good as he is as a player, I don't think it's worked. I don't think it's worked at all for them. They don't look like the same team in terms of the way they play and their intensity. He is 30. Milner's in his 30s. Henderson's 30. That front three's moving towards 30. So it is an aging team, and they're going to have to try and freshen up in the summer. The problem they're going to have is they're probably going to sell players to do it. Liverpool are quite a self-sustaining team, so I'm not sure whether they move Salah on in terms of try and get a bit of money on and then try and go again the way that they continue. It'll definitely be interesting, but just on Liverpool, you've obviously said this, I think the first time I had you on back in November, December it was. You said you thought top 4 wasn't a certainty for them. Do you see that now? Do you think they're in real danger? I must think in top 4.
Because I think Chelsea's going to get a good run now because every team gets a good bounce when a new manager comes in, and the way they're playing, they're like he sets up hard to beat. Yeah. So I can see Chelsea. I can see Chelsea making a good run at it, and then I keep saying, like, I don't know if West Ham's going to be able to keep up there and Everton, but like I don't know, Everton ain't getting bit by any teams. Like, they're not getting hammered. Like,
I know what you mean. They've been thereabouts all season. But again, you just question. You don't know if their mentalities there. Mentality is obviously something that I've spoken about quite a lot. We use that in our United fans over the last few weeks, and I desperately wanted to prove wrong because I wanted to see how I do well and maybe prove the media wrong. Me being a football coach I really find it difficult when managers come under pressure for things and really wanted Ollie to succeed and won the league. Because City have won it, Liverpool have won it. I really wanted either Leicester or United to go on and win it this year. Because I think Rodgers rode off to a certain extent too after Liverpool. So I wanted them to they prove people wrong, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But see, with Man United, we've obviously spoke about this before. I've been saying about the crunch games. Just there's something missing in terms of their mentality, or they can't get over the line. Why do you think all these individual errors is down to a lack of quality and ability, or just down to pressure?
A bit of both. I would say a bit of both. I think we have three good centre halves. I think Maguire, Bailly, and Lindelof are good, but they're not complementing each other.
Yep.
Like, I think Maguire would be brilliant with like a fast centre half, but Bailly doesn't stay fit enough. And then the one problem I have with Solskjaer is he has his favourites. So he's always going Maguire and Lindelof. Like he's afraid to step outside and give like Maguire and some like Juan Sebi. And I know he has his mistakes as well, but try and give someone else a bit of a run, because we've conceded, I think, the 10th most in the league this year. And that's embarrassing. Like the defence is a bit of a nightmare. Like, and it is costing us. Like, it's definitely costing us. Like, because we're scoring goals. Like, we're flying the goals on. Like,
do you think that this is United's best chance of gone now? This was the best chance they've had.
No, because I think we will strengthen next year. I think if I initially going into this season before it even started, I says, right, 30 points behind Liverpool and about 15 or whatever it was behind City. I says, if we can close a gap in Emmons, like bring a gap on big time, I'd be happy enough with that there. But then the reason I says then, like the first time he had me on, is about winning the league, is because I thought there's a gap there because Liverpool ain't playing well, Man City at that time weren't playing well.
Yep.
So I said, like, why not pick United to win the league? Like, so
no,
it might be a wee bit.
What you said was you didn't actually say United were going to win it. You said they could win it. Because of being an open season. You didn't say, oh, they were searched or nothing like that. So
no.
I think you spoke really well that first time. You said that it was an open year. United has as much chance as any. And they've obviously been up there all season. They've been top, second now. I think City's consistency has obviously been there where United hasn't been. I think if you mentioned it'll be the Liverpool game away from home, and I think the Arsenal game as well. They probably respected them teams a bit too much.
Definitely.
But then they had the chances they won the game, and they could have won them 1-0. And then you come away thinking, oh, he's done a great job. So it is fine margins. I think the Sheffield game at home was a real kick in the teeth, and then the Everton game at the weekend was a really, really kick in the teeth. I say your individual errors. Lack of mentality is obviously something that's been aimed at them in terms of semi-finals. They've lost in a row, but do you think they're a bit of a soft touch as well? They're just a wee bit soft at times.
I think when it does come to them crunch games, as you say, I think that there's when they do struggle. Now, I think we'll struggle tonight against West Ham in this FA Cup League, but I really want to win that match. Like, I would take that very seriously, like that FA Cup League.
I was going to say, do you think FA Cup's the best chance of silverware?
You have the Europa League too, but it's a long process. Like, I would rather not go through it. Like, do you know what I mean? But obviously, I'm on every competition. I want to win it, but the Europa League's hard to win. Like, it is the second tier, but of like European football, but it's hard. Like, it's hard to win.
Never easy. You have 2 legs and stuff, and once it starts now next week, it's rapid. It's constantly February, March, April, May, the whole way through. I mean, if you won the night against West Ham, you're into the quarterfinal, and then you have a semi-final at Wembley and a final at Wembley. So it's only 4 games, you know. So you say it is a bit easier in the schedule. So you said there about you think us strengthen, right? And I've wrote it down here as well. So what do you think they need to improve? What positions and who would be the ideal targets for you? Who would you go and get?
I would I would get centre halves. It'd be like your man Canate plays for Leipzig.
Yeah.
Or else Upamecano, or else there's a boy plays for Seville too. I think that is. Is there? I forget the name of him anyway. But there's about 3 centre halves you could probably go out and get. And I wouldn't want to go out and play an arm of the league on it because Jesus, we pay far too much for Maguire. Like, and I think he's a good centre half, but he's getting compared to his price tag, and he's not.
I know every time he makes a mistake, it's constantly 85 million. I know. I get that. Do you think that the same? I actually think they're about 3 players short. So I think similarly Liverpool, it's the same kind of areas. I think centre half, centre midfielder, and striker. I think Cavani's aging,
Mm.
obviously, and it's
Uh,
not going to be long term. And then I think with Martial has never really done it consistently. He does it in spells. Rashford, I'm not sure if he
uh,
has a striker, if he's a wide
no.
player or a striker. So I think they could do. If I was United, I'd be testing the waters with Harry Kane. Like, you go and test Spurs. He's at that age where you might see it as an opportunity where the prestige of United is a good move for him.
Mm.
Um, I don't think he's entirely happy at Spurs at the minute. I think this is the first time he hasn't been happy. He'll never let. He's a true professional, Harry Kane. He'll never come out and say he's not happy. But you can just sense
Uh,
things aren't all there with him
mm.
at Spurs.
Mm.
I think he is going to be reconsidering his position. I think if he was to leave, it would be done amicably. There would be no transfer request or no circus or anything. It will be done the right way. I think
How
this is
much would it be paid for?
um with his injury record. I don't think
Uh,
they're going to pay loads and loads. I think with COVID as well, could possibly get players cheaper this summer. I'm not sure. Like if you went on me 100
uh,
million, I'm not sure if you would get him 100 million, but you wouldn't be far away. I don't think. But
mm.
that's where a team's got 100 million, they go and throw at a player. Like this is that.
uh,
You know,
that's where I would. That's
the,
where I would struggle with Kane. I would
the,
love him, like, but I would rather have.
the United offer Spurs maybe 60 million plus Martial, maybe, and see if Spurs can get a tune or more. I don't know. Could be something.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
I don't know. But it remains to be seen. I think there are strikers out there. Haaland's obviously been heavily linked with Man City. I think
Big
are one of the
Haaland.
teams you're looking at. But there's not a lot out there, and it's going to be hard to get them top players. I do think United need three. Liverpool need three, and City are definitely going to need a striker. So I think Aguero's coming to the end, and Jesus has never been favourable
No.
consistently with Pep. So funny enough, I think a lot of the teams will be looking for the same type of player. So
Uh,
it's going to be interesting to see where teams end up. So see you on the next game. Obviously, West Ham have been doing well this year. Do you sense that the stories left for Moyes to come back and do you want to be United, or is that what you're fearing?
I'm definitely nervous for it because I think this is it's not a crunch game, but it's like you put Liverpool out, like done sort of the hard work. They put Liverpool out in the last round, and then you come up against West Ham now. Like why a lot of people would take it as a given, United will just go through. But
Mm-hmm.
then now because the gap in the league's a wee bit higher, it's going to be more pressure on United to actually go and win the FA Cup. So it's a pressure game, like so. It will be tough, but
do you think Ollie really needs a trophy this year, just to even put that that mentality thing to bed?
They put like everybody else off his back, not just not Man United fans, like all the other fans. It's the other fans that are saying, "Oh, he hasn't won a trophy, hasn't done this, hasn't done that." Like in his first full season, third, and then this season improving. And like I says, if he improves the season in the league, gets higher points tally, gets closer to Man City and Liverpool, I'd be happy with that. But then next year, he definitely would need to win something next year.
Yeah.
I wasn't too.
How do you see the title race now in terms? I know City's 5 clear. They have that game in hand. And I don't know if you've seen it. It's just announced there this week that game in hand is going to be played next week. So they play Spurs on Saturday, then they play Everton midweek. That's their game in hand, and then they play Arsenal. That's a hard week. That's Spurs at home. No Spurs haven't been playing well, but the City has to look. Spurs have a good record against City recently. Everton away is a tough game, and then Arsenal away. That week, that's a tough week. But would you say if they come through that way, 9 points, that will be it? I'll be nailing the coffin.
I think it was. I'll just check on here a minute. I said to my friend that I'll let you know no, I think it's the 3rd of March when like that there no when I can tell you who like no City of they'll be definitely going to win the league. And I forget now what date it was. Here it is here. The 6th of March, I'll like because that's when they play us.
Yep.
And then they play, like as you say, Everton, Arsenal, Spurs, and then they play West Ham as well. So if they can come out of all them games winning, and then even if United can still be about 5 points behind them when we play them on the 6th, if we beat them in 2 points, you know what I mean? It can go anyway because it's still have to play Chelsea and stuff like that again. But I fancy using they maybe pick up a wee point because I fancy they pick up a wee point maybe on Saturday.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. Your renewal hat on. I think United play West Brom away this week, so you fancy them to go and win that. West Brom are shocking. So I think this is a big week. I think if City were to get 9 points, that will be an 8 point league. Big gap. They turn around. You say as you say, man, that a game you need to be within 5 or 6 points and then go and win that game to get back to 3. You have a chance then, of course, but I think you needed to drop more points before that game. I think if they go into that game 8 points ahead of you, you're still going to have to really win that, and then it's still a 5-point gap. What's the goal situation like? Are they ahead of you, or are you ahead of them?
Oh, they're flying ahead of us too. I think they've like an extra 10 because they're not conceding goals. They're not scoring that many, but they're not conceding it.
You can really add another point to that, so that's 9. That makes it very difficult. So I do think it's a big week. There's no guarantee they're going to beat these 3 teams in a week. That's a tough run. Spurs home, Everton away, Arsenal away. That's a really tough run. I think the Everton away will be the hardest game. I do think they will beat Spurs at home.
And
I think the Arsenal game is going to work out well for them, because I think that's sandwiched in between the Benfica games for Arsenal. And Arsenal at the minute in the league are nothing really to play for as far as I'm concerned. So the Everton game with a win, if they were to drop points there, you're back enough. So do you see it as a 2-horse race? You don't really see any other team now, say United or City?
Well, maybe could say Leicester, Liverpool, Liverpool's going to like United. I think that's a thing. That's why I don't like. Even if City are dropping points, I can't see United dropping points.
You can't see United going on.
It'll be very difficult to win out from this position. But sure, we've seen things like this before.
Big time.
That's what I mean. Just they won the end of the season.
You touched on it there about the top 4. Obviously, I'm at the top 4 is City, United, Liverpool, City, United, Leicester, Liverpool. The moment Chelsea's just on behind there. West Ham, Everton, Spurs, Villa are all close. How do you see the top 4? What would you, in terms of the race now? Who would you fancy to finish in the top 4?
City, United. I'm going to have to say Leicester.
Vulnerable.
And I think Leicester will stay there. I think Leicester can. I think Leicester they have a good team. Like I know they're missing Vardy, but I think they can. And then that's a big game on Saturday, Liverpool Leicester. So I could probably tell you better end, but not sure.
You think Liverpool get on?
Not sure. I hope Liverpool don't get it, because I look like a fucking genius, and
No. Do you think it's between Liverpool and Chelsea? Or do you think any other team has a chance?
No, I would say between Liverpool and Chelsea. I definitely.
Because I think it's some of the Arsenal fans thought that they have a chance. Do you see that? No.
Arsenal.
No,
they're 11th. They're 11th.
They were all texting me last week saying we're going to finish above you, and we're back now and all. We're trusting the process again. But I think it's all come crushing down again. I think Doc was great.
I think. Leeds could be a wee surprise package. They're playing good stuff.
They're back. I think they had a wee bit of a break, right? That COVID time worked out well. And that wasn't Southampton had to play a team in the FA Cup, and it got moved. So they had to move that Premier League. So they ended up having a full week off. And they looked a bit tired before it. No way Leeds, second half of the season, even the Championship, around Christmas time, the results started to take a wee bit of a turn. I think that week off really helped them. I think they've won the last 3 games in a row. They look like somewhere back to their best again. I watched that game last night, and that Rafinha, he looks a real top player, that Rafinha. I don't know where they pulled him out of. He looks a serious player, but Leeds, Arsenal Leeds on Sunday, a good game now. Do you all these fans were texting me about Mourinho and stuff, all these Arsenal fans, about we're awful, and fair enough, I'm not going to sit here and say we're good, because we, I've obviously spoke about it the last few weeks, but do you see Spurs and Arsenal as the 2 biggest disappointments this year? I know Liverpool have had a bit of a drop, but they've won the league and stuff, so you can give them that benefit out. Do you think Spurs and Arsenal have been the real 2 this season where they haven't kicked on at all, and if anything, they've got worse?
At the start of the season, I would have thought that Arsenal, you see, when Emmons won the FA Cup, and then I thought then maybe they might start it might be going the process might be going faster than slower. Where I thought they were going to make maybe a dash towards the Champions League this year. Spurs, I'm not surprised at all, because I supported United under Mourinho, and it's it was the worst couple of years of my life, because I know we finished second and won the Europa League, but see, just watching the football, like it's just too. Oh, it would
Negative.
drag a life out of you. Like even like. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard to watch. Like that's why I says the first time he had me on too. I think I says Mourinho's football's outdid it. I says oh, like he's a bit. He's had that result against Man City. He's beat us 6-1, and I says it won't last over a full season. But like, and it's coming. They fucking
Coming home to wrist now. Do you think we're going to be stuck in? But do you think he's going to end up winning a cup and then we're going to be stuck in?
I watch a hang too. Like Spurs haven't won anything in that long. If he did win a trophy, you'd have to argue that because I was watching his press conference there the other day, and they asked him a question or something, and he says, "When's the last time this club's won something or something like that?" There it was something along them lines, and he says, "Like I'm in a position to do that." Like
he's going down that road, but where he's being defensive
Mm.
again, and I think that tells you he's under pressure. See when he starts putting all these stats about what he's won and stuff. He's definitely under a bit of pressure, and that's not from the media. That's from on house. Davies probably said to him, "Look, results need to improve dramatically here," because I think when you're going through a bad spell, you can pick positives in performances. The performances were awful. The style of play was poor, negative. They were. I think it was Colin said well on Tuesday. Said he didn't lay a glove in Chelsea last week. So, and then they play West Brom the weekend and tells you right at Spurs fans no confidence going to. They won the game quite comfortably in the end, and people were saying about Mourinho's going to change now. I don't see it that way. I think it's very early to say that. I think they play West Brom at home. You're going to have to go and pick initiative anyway. I think it'll be interesting. This cup game this week against Everton away. It's going to be tough. Do you think that Mourinho's going to go back to their negative ways again? And it's just a matter of time before they go back to it again?
But that's what I can never understand with Mourinho. But like at United as well, he has the attacking team to go and play. Like no, they go like sort of maybe go 2-2 with City, but definitely go 2-2 with like Chelsea and fucking United and stuff like that. There, I can't see why he wouldn't go like attacking against like Everton and all like that. That's what it used to annoy me because like you used to be sitting there in the wee games going right. I can understand you sort of have to be aware of like playing like world class teams, but when you're playing the teams that you should be going out and giving a game, like you should like we see when Liverpool beat Juventus 3-1, I was like, that's why that's why I put in Facebook out there. So I wouldn't be getting carried away with Liverpool beating Spurs there because fucking that Spurs side there, fucking brutal. Like.
Yep.
Jesus, like why? Like no, I think if he's had to win 2-2 with Liverpool, he's going to give him a good game. Like.
No, I think the thing with Mourinho, right? He thinks that if he sits back and because he doesn't trust his defense, Spurs thinks if he sits back and makes it difficult, they can maybe nick a 1-0. But he's inviting the teams onto them, and then it's backfiring. Whereas you seen on Sunday when they went out and played against West Brom, scored 2 goals. West Brom's not going to score 3 goals in a game. It's just not going to happen.
No.
For Spurs, definitely, and I think it was the same United. The pack's got to be the best form of defence in terms of the players they have. Spurs aren't suited there. If it was a Burnley, fair enough, because Burnley love defending. They've got the players to do it. But at Spurs, he's seen we saw him there over the last few weeks. He's not really touched the ball and he's not been getting chances. All of a sudden, Kane gets back on Spurs on the front foot. No, it looks like a different player. So, see for these coaches like Mourinho and Arteta, do you think that they're going to be in the job come the start of next season if they don't win anything and they finish outside the top 6? Say,
I think Arteta will be, and he'll get their Christmas next year. They see how it's going. If they wanted to sack him, they would have sacked him by now. Yeah. I think he definitely sees out the end of the season. Mourinho, no Champions League football, maybe again. I don't know. Well, it all depends on like really the fan base, know how like angry they get, like because then that always transpires like transfers through into the club.
I think a lot of it will come down to the cup final. I think it's there. I think if results are bad between now and then, they might change. I'm not sure what way they'll think about it. But the cup final will come down a lot to it. I think the FA Cup as well. I don't think one cup will be enough. I think if he wins that League Cup and they finish 8th or 9th or whatever outside the top 6, I don't think they'll keep him. I think if they won 2 cups, I think it's very hard to get a manager who won 2 cups, regardless of how you feel about him. So I think that'll be the key. But hey, moving on to the FA Cup predictions this week. I'm going to give you a few. You can tell me what you think here. Let me get the fixtures up. I think these are on them.
Okay, Gary. See, just on my thinking too. Like, I think he could do out now your belief because see, that defensive style in Europe, it works a lot better. So it does.
Mm.
So he's might be a wee surprise package for out there.
Yeah, so do you think? Mourinho, he's won that twice, hasn't he, before?
Makes
Obviously
no
tonight,
sense. So
the FA
wouldn't
Cup
rule that out.
starts. Burnley against Bournemouth. How do you see that going?
Burnley.
Can't say Burnley. United against West Ham.
Definitely. I think Burnley. United. I'll go United. Like I just think it'll be a wee bit of a dodgy one. Like, but I think we will win now.
Burnley, Bournemouth. Very hard to call. Bournemouth sacked their manager there in the Championship. Be interesting to see what kind of team they go with. Burnley. I'm not sure they're entirely safe yet. You'd be surprised if they went down with Dice seems to get results. I think this will be tight, but I think you might be right. Burnley might nick it. United, West Ham. I think that the big Omi Soucek's red card's been rescinded, so he's back. I think that'll give West Ham a bit of a boost. United are playing well, but just at the moment they don't seem to be getting them over the line in games. I know they beat Southampton 9-0, but the recent games, Arsenal away drew, Sheffield United bit, and then they drew with Everton. But I think the way the league is at the moment, United's going to go full strength for the night. I think this is a bigger game than the West Brom game at the weekend. So I think United will make it 2-1. Wednesday, Swansea against Man City.
Swansea's flying high in the Championship, but then again, it's Man City, like so. But they're playing well. Swansea, I like them. They're good to watch. I fancied them against Norwich on Friday night. I was tapping them there, everybody. Swansea could be a
draw, was it?
No, they beat Norwich 2-0.
Did they?
I think they're going to be concentrating on that fucking promotion to Swansea because they're right up there, like so. I don't know if they're going to be full strength like a night, but I would say they will too. Like,
Man City don't play weekend teams at all in any competition. They always play strong teams.
They don't have a weekend team. You see, they have fucking 30 odd good players. Like,
so how do you see it going?
I'm going to go for an FA Cup shock. We'll go Swansea.
You can't say Swansea.
We'll go Swansea for an FA Cup shock.
I think City's on a high after that game of the weekend. I think it's a really bad time for Swansea to be playing them. So I'm going to go for Man City as well. I think they'll be too strong. Leicester against Brighton. That is a tough one to call.
I'm going to go Brighton there, guy.
Brighton away to Leicester.
I'm definitely.
Brighton
I'm going to go Brighton. Definitely, because I think the last couple of weeks there, Leicester's been sort of fucking getting by. Just maybe. I think Brighton. I think Brighton will go for that too because the bottom three in the Premier League. I think that's going to stay the bottom three.
I think you could be right. I looked at all the games and I thought this was the most likely shock. Thought Brighton are playing really, really well. Leicester, you say they've looked a bit shaky in the last couple of games, and they're lacking a bit of penetration with Vardy and stuff. So, and they will rotate. I think Leicester will be looking at the top fours. They're good chance. So I think they might rotate a few players, and Brighton will go full strength, as you say. So yeah, I fancy Brighton. They won this as well. Sheffield United against Bristol City.
Sheffield United, Bristol City, aren't they in that Championship?
Sheffield seem to have found a bit of form. Fancy Sheffield too. It's a funny season where Sheffield's really struggling in the league, but seem to be doing well in the FA Cup. Favourable draws as well, but they are in a quarter final. So if Sheffield United won this one, Everton against Spurs tomorrow night, that'll be quite an interesting game because you know what? I looked at this right and I think Everton are about they need a trophy. They're on a very long trophy route. And I think the same thing's leveled at them with Spurs in terms of when it comes to the big games, they tend to fall apart. So there'll be a lot of pressure on Everton as well, going to this as well as Spurs. So how do you see it going?
Spurs.
Fancy Spurs, they won it.
Spurs definitely. I just think Mourinho just doesn't Everton. I think because we got them in the semi-final too, the Capital One Cup, and they didn't even give us a game. The quarter-final was we played them, beat them 2-0. They didn't even give us a game. To be honest, I think Spurs will be too strong for them.
I think it's going to be tight, but I think Spurs might just nick it.
Do you think Spurs will rest players tonight for Saturday, guy?
No. I think they'll go full strength. Mourinho always looks at the cups and go full strength. If anything, he might rotate a few so Saturday against Man City, to be honest. If he has to. But all the main players will play tonight, or the morning night, sorry. So I'm going to go Spurs, they nick it. I think it could be a long game. It could be extra time or even penalties, but I think Spurs might nick it. Thursday, Wolves against Southampton. It's a really hard one to call because both teams are
Is
really
that the FA Cup too?
Aye.
Fuck's sake, Wolves are still in the FA Cup. Hey, they're always a bastard here, team.
But you got a couple
Uh,
of
oh, they're a nightmare.
Wolves,
I
I
fan-
thought. Well, they're both playing really poor at the moment.
I fancy Wolves.
I fancy
Wolves.
Wolves too. I think I know we're not scoring a lot of
Mm,
goals, but Southampton looking really, really tired at the moment.
mm.
Yeah, they're really struggling.
Hey, they're missing. Hey, know who I can't understand? Using every fucking letting go on loan. Hey, Shea Walker Peters. Hey,
We sold him in.
is it sold?
Well, he was on loan and then we sold him for the Højbjerg going there. We sold him
Aye.
for the deal. So, he's done well. He's really surprised me. I thought because he was 24. I thought, you know what, he's had a long time to prove he could be good for Spurs, but hasn't really happened for him. Not enough games. But he's done really, really well there. Hey, last game, Barnsley against Chelsea. How do you see that going?
Chelsea.
Hey, Zach,
That'll be really
that pretty
strong
much.
in that cup.
I think Chelsea as well. That pretty much wraps up the show. Hey, thanks for coming on. Really enjoyed it. I think to be fair to you, a lot of your predictions this year have been near enough spot on. I think you said United would challenge. They have done to a certain extent. Liverpool struggled. So keep up the good work, as I say.
Well,
Some
it's
people
a
are
big
saying
guy.
they're quite delusional, but that's why I give you the name the Magic Man because you seem to be pulling up all these predictions. So
I watch about 40 hours of football a week, guy.
no, that's all I can do.
Jesus.
You back on
That's it.
Liverpool?
I'm back over in Liverpool and all now, yeah. So
What's it like over there?
well, it's the same. Like you're locked down. Like so, the only thing really to do is football, go out a dander, fucking maybe have a few shans at the weekend. Like so, not much. Like.
No. I will enjoy the match tonight. Should be a good
Aye.
game. It's on BBC One, so a lot of people
Hopefully.
should watch that. No, but enjoy it. I've got
That's it.
Kevin Carrion on Friday. They preview the Merseyside derby, so that should be a good one. But until then, I'll see you again, and enjoy the rest of your day. All right,
No
Matt.
sweat. Right, guy. All best.
Thanks very much.
Take care. Right, lad.